Just a little sippy sip, y'all. Alright. I can't find my other phone. Alright, whatever. I know how I'll do it. I know how I will do it. So I think y'all see the thumbnail, y'all see the title, y'all kind of know what we about to do right now. So we're going to do that. We're going to discuss this because this is a trigger warning for a lot of people. This is a trigger warning for a lot of people. Right? This is a trigger warning for a lot of people. So I recently came across this thing on social media. And honestly, I was kind of in this particular space where I'm like, I'm not even going to, I'm really not even going to like, how can I say this? For lack of a better term, can we put this right here where I can see everything? Will I be able to see everything? Okay, cool. We could do that. So I'm not even going to pretend like this isn't controversial, but I've seen this a lot. And I've seen a lot of people debating it. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people had their opinions on it. And I think it's a conversation that we could have. As mature adults, we should be able to have this conversation and talk. I don't think it should be a point of contention. But when I saw this debate happening about should the man protect his ex girlfriend's, against her new child's father, when you look in the comments, it pretty much was man versus woman. It was probably, yo, what up, Sean? What up, bro? What up, Terry? It pretty much became man versus woman. That's all it was. It was just man versus woman. That's literally y'all see what the damn thing says. I saw the comments. All the comments were man versus women. That's pretty much all it became. So obviously, if you're watching, you kind of want to know what I think right now, and I ain't got no problem giving that to y'all. You know what? F it. We'll dance a little bit. I got a little bit of time today. So we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance. Okay. The short answer is that gentleman right there is absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct in the sense that he says it's not his responsibility. He's right. Now, sometimes we have to. My mother taught me something a long time ago. Terry, you respond, he wrong. She's still the mother of his child. The child still has to look up to him as the father. Okay, so there's a couple things we got to iron out. Right? The context of this is, man says that he will not step in if his baby mother is being physically abused by her new boyfriend, because it is not his responsibility. She is no longer under my protection. That's the key word. It's boyfriend. It's not girlfriend. It's not side piece. It's boyfriend. Okay, so there's a couple things you have to put into perspective here. I have sisters, right? I have all my sisters are older. I have no younger sisters. Now I do have a niece who's of age who's dating and things of that nature, right? So I'm gonna start off with my sisters, and then I'm gonna kind of work my way over to significant others. So if I have, yeah, right there, Terry. I'm about to get to that. Also, you don't want to get in other people's business, so it's a fine line to walk. Absolutely, but that's why I want to get there. I want to slow walk my way there, though, because I think there's a conversation to be had. I really do. I think it's a conversation we need to have, but I think some people are going to be very short-sighted in the conversation, which is why I want to slow walk it over there. All right, so at the top of the top, fellas, if you ever see a woman just getting the shit beat out of her by a dude, you should definitely step in. Like, it's not the time to say, oh, she broke my heart or something. Like, you should definitely step in. Even if she's in the wrong, if you see her getting physically assaulted, then you should step in. Keyword C. Now, I have sisters. All my sisters are older, right? If they had a significant other who was putting their hands on them, yes, I'm going to go over there and protect her. But how many times am I going to protect her? That's the real conversation, because I'm not just going to keep going over there if you're going to stay with the same dude. Keep that in mind. So, is this guy right here right? he is right for his position. She's no longer his responsibility in that sense. Now, if he saw her getting physically abused, like literally saw her getting punched on. Hold on for a second. If he saw her getting physically abused, then it's his job, right? It's his job. My mother told me a long time ago, there was a young lady on campus that, well, we both lived off campus, but she was with a dude who was like abusive. He was more mentally abusive. I don't know if he ever hit her, but he was very mentally abusive, right? He would threaten her with physical violence. So I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I don't like that. It's kind of triggering me, you know, so on and so forth. She said, baby, if you go over there and do anything to that man, she's going to stay with him and you're going to be the one left out in the cold. She's going to stay with him because that's what young girls do. This is my mom. This is not my words. This is my mom's words. She said, because I was a young woman at one point, and when I was with an abusive man, he hit me and I stayed. So even when my cousins came over to protect me, I would go back. So now I'm still in the same situation. I'm not saying that this is the situation, but I want to slow walk us to my point. Right? So the fact of the matter is, if I have a child, right now all I have is cats, but if I had a child and she left me for whatever reason, it don't matter why she left me. She could leave me for it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Right? Even if she was on some cornball shit while she left me, it literally doesn't matter. She leaves me and she goes and finds a guy who's abusive, physically abusive. He's smacking the shit out of her, punching her, all of that. If I see him physically assault her, keyword see, then I protect her. I wouldn't pretend I wouldn't act like I don't see and just go about my endeavors. I would protect her in that instant. However, it is her responsibility to call police. It is her responsibility to get the authorities involved. That's not my responsibility. I've seen people comment saying, oh, the guy should go over there. If she calls him, he should go over there, get his kid, and call the cops. Why can't she call the cops? If she could call me, she can call the cops. If she can call me, she can call the cops. Now, dig this. If she called the cops are coming over there, right? They're on their way. And she's like, can me and your son or me and your daughter come over? I don't feel safe here by myself. Absolutely, they can. I'm not going to be no bitter shit, but I'm not your bodyguard at this point. You feel me? I'm not your bodyguard. I'm not the person that you can call to come save the day. That's not my job in that sense. It's not. We're not a couple, right? You have brothers, you have a cousin, you have a father. They do that. But if you were to call me after you already called the police, OJ, you can't be rude like this. You can't be rude like this, OJ. I'm working right now. You can't be rude like this. No, you absolutely cannot do that. You absolutely cannot do that. This is this type of stuff you go through when you got cats. He's rude. He's a rude ass motherfucker. He's rude. But again, I think that if you ever at any point see her get physically abused, then yes, you should definitely interfere in that. You should not allow the mother of your child to be physically abused in that sense. But if she calls you, right? First of all, you shouldn't be the first person she calls. The first people she calls should be the police. Okay, get down. You're doing too much. You're doing way too much. Okay? I love you. I do love you, but you're doing too much right now. Right? The first people she should call should be the authorities. Because with this, there's a lot that happens. I don't think, because I've seen a lot of people in the comments saying, no, he should go over there and protect this child's mom. And he should, but dig this. If she calls me, and he over there smacking her the fuck up, he calls me, she calls me, I show up, I shoot the guy. I pistol whip the guy. I break his jaw. He break my jaw. He shoot me. Now I'm dead. She abused. He in jail. Like, there's a lot that can happen. So the smart thing to do in that moment is not to call me. Granted, I don't have a baby mother, and I think the name is trifling as hell. Like, I would never call the child of my child's mother, my baby mom. I would never call her that. But that's a whole nother conversation. But if she calls me, that should be after she called the police. And if you do call me, I would expect a change to be made almost immediately. Whether that's you leaving him or PFA, something. I expect a change to be made very soon after that. Because you can't just call me to come protect you and then you go back. Right? You can't do that. Because now you're reckless. Now you're endangering the child. Now you're putting the child in a dangerous situation. Now it's a whole nother thing. So I don't think we think down the line when we talk about these conversations. Because another thing we have to think about is more than likely if she's calling me, this ain't the first time he did it. Some of y'all ain't never been in these situations. I have. A lot of women in my family have been physically assaulted by men that they've dated. And more often than not, the time that she calls me ain't the first time it happened. So what I think should happen in a perfect world for, for everybody that's all inclusive and everything in between, I think she should be calling the police first, then her child's father, right? I don't think calling the child's father is the first thing you should be doing. Because he's right. You're no longer with me. You're not. I could have a whole nother family. Right? You should be calling the police first. And if you call the police and then call me and say, hey, Jack, hey, Baron, however you address me. I called the police. They're coming to get such and such. Can me and your son or me and your daughter come to your house? We need a place to stay tonight. I don't want to spend money in a hotel. You're not that far, etc. Absolutely. And if I were to see it happen, I would definitely step in. But to think that it's his right, his responsibility to get up and go do what he got to do, that puts a lot more people in danger. And I don't think we think about that long term. Because if he goes over there and pistol whip this dude, if he kills him, he can still go to jail for that. So now he's in jail. The boyfriend you were with is dead, or vice versa. Like, it's just so much that can come out of that. So for those who don't know, most of you guys watching know this, I'm from North Philly. So I'm used to things becoming very dangerous very quickly. Most things become very dangerous very quickly in my city. So before we go to the extreme, before we start drawing pistols on each other and carrying knives and box cutters and, all the other amenities that we carry with us, right? For dangerous situations, we look for every other way to get out the situation or every other way to avoid the situation. So that's how I see it, because I know that this might just sound like go over there and protect her like it's a movie, but this can go really left really quick. And once it goes left like that, then we got to deal with it. There's always recourse. There's always repercussions. It might not be death, but it might be some shit. It might damn near be death. So do I think the man should protect his ex from her new boyfriend if he is physically assaulting her? Terry, exactly. We should look for every other way to handle it, right? We should look for, because again, I was in a situation where I saw a woman get attacked, and I knew her. I knew this. So I did put my body in between her and the guy. I did do that. Done it a few times. But I didn't go to attack the guy. Because we also have to look at it this way, man. It's so nuanced. You literally don't know why you don't know any of that. You don't know anything. You don't know if she's spitting this man. You don't know nothing. And I'm not saying it justifies him putting his hands on her, but you don't know anything. All you know is that he has struck her. Right? And as men, we have to be cognitive and understand, like, one wrong move from us, we're going to jail for life. It might feel right. It might feel like I should go over there and bust him upside his head. But really, should I? And you, as the child's mother, why would you want me to be in that situation? Why would you want me to go ahead and bust him upside his head and play tough? Why would you want me to do that? We should look for every way outside of that before it gets violent. Because once it gets violent, this ain't 2001. I was a little ass boy in 2001, but this is not 2001, right? In 2001, you was gonna fight. You and that father and that boyfriend were gonna fight. They were gonna just fight it out, tussle a little bit, couple punches, fall over, whatever. Now pistols is getting drawn. So before we start reaching for guns and all that, let's figure out the other ways to handle this. That's why the police should be the first people you call, because they're legally mandated to protect you. Legally mandated. And they have the right tools to protect you. Tasers, guns, everything in between. Right? You call me after the fact. But again, if I see it happen, if I drop my kid off and I see him smack shit, yeah, I'm going to jump in. I'm not going to watch that happen. But the first people you should call, ladies, are the police. You call them first. I got a niece. My niece is 21 now. It's kind of weird because we're a little close in age to be uncle and niece, but whatever. It's my dad's job. He did all that. My niece know I'm a little off in the head. My brain don't work all like that. So if she called me crying and saying somebody hit her, I'm gonna be so enticed to crash out. I'm probably not gonna think right. I'll be so enticed to go crash out and protect her because I remember her as a 9-year-old with a round face that was just the silliest little girl you could ever meet. Right? I'll be enticed to go protect her. And protect her by any means necessary. Now, I can't expect a young woman. Honestly, in my experience, women tend to be a little bit more emotional than men. A little more erotic. Not saying they don't have any self-control, but just a little more erotic. And that's okay, because it's all right. I'm not knocking nobody. It's up to me to make the discernment on how I'm supposed to approach this. I got to figure out how I'm going to approach the situation. But if they are getting attacked and they call the police are mandated to do exactly that. They're mandated. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. They're scared of the no, they're mandated to do exactly that. And that's why the police should be the first people you call in that situation. I saw somebody's comment that said, the comment literally said, no, the child's father should come over there, get the kid, get the baby mom, take them home, and then call the police. You do know 911 is faster than 215 such and such, right? Like my number is 10 digits long. 911 is 3. If you could call me, you could have called the cops first. Even if you call me first, you should be calling the cops quickly thereafter. Like there should not be a situation where you think there's a physical threat, there's something going on that you say, you know what, I'm going to call Barron or I'm going to call him first. No, because I'm not legally mandated to shoot nobody. I'm not allowed to do it. I'm not in Florida, right? I can't just pop up and pop somebody on the street. I can't do that. You know, I'm in PA. I'm a Philly dude. I can't just do that. So I could keep rambling on about it, but I think that y'all get the point. I also could be a lot further away than local PD. Hey Terry, you right on that too? I know for a fact of like my sisters are in Baltimore and Philly. Right? Like I don't live in Philly. I'm an hour and a half outside of Philly. I'm in my college town where I graduated from. So you calling me at that point, I'm gonna be a 2-hour trip away. Right? My girl could be an hour and a half away. I might not be close. So that's why to me it just makes way more sense. Like a lot of us want to, like I seen the comments were wild. The comments became men versus women, like we do everything else on the internet. And it was mainly the women saying, that's his child's mother, he should go protect her. And it's like, to some degree, yes, that's true. But for the most part, that's not his battle to fight. That's not his battle to fight. If he sees her get physically assaulted, absolutely go protect her. But if she calls him, the first person she calls should be the cops, not him. Calling him puts him in danger and you in danger. But the cops are legally mandated to protect you. So it just makes way more sense. It just makes way more sense. I also did see some men in there who were products and probably had some bad baby mama experiences. I seen them in there too. But I seen more outrage from, women in those comments, and I just like, let me go speak on this. I don't like doing these kind of videos because I know I'm gonna get some comments and some recourse about this. I know that it's definitely gonna happen, and they're gonna tell me I'm tripping, I'm bugging, everything in between. But at the same time, man, I think facts are facts. Facts don't change. 5 + 5 is always 10. So I think the best thing to do in that situation, you call the cops first. Call the cops first. Then you can call your child's father or, your child's father or your brother or whomever else you're going to call. But call the cops first because they are legally mandated to do everything in their power to make sure you stay alive and your kid stays alive. Putting that responsibility on the father, who you're no longer with, who for whatever reason you left. We're not even gonna get into that because no, Terry, my YouTube is. Let me see if I can type it in here. Hold up. You know what, Terry? I'll DM you the link to my YouTube channels. I got 2 YouTube channels. I have a gaming one and a music one. I'll DM you the link to both of them. So I'll send you that directly so you can go sub to those things. But yeah, I think calling the child's father is a bit short-sighted. Don't and please, just putting this out there, don't let her have left you over some bullshit though. Like she was cheating on you with a dude or some shit like that. Like don't let that, because if that's the case, most men ain't coming. The men that get done like that, they ain't coming. They ain't showing up. They ain't showing up at all. I promise you, they ain't gonna show up. I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you guys a quick story, and I think I said this story before. There's a young lady who I was talking to last year at some point. And she had been moving in a way. She had been moving real interesting. Like, we hang out on Monday. I don't hear from her again until like Thursday. Like, it was just like shit. Like, it was like weird. But I know what that means. I ain't stupid. I know what that means. I'm not dumb. That she was interested, had some other things going on. That's cool. One night we spent a lot of time together this particular day, hang out all day for the most part, or half the day. The next day she don't talk to me for like 9-10 hours. Right. The following day she calls me or texts me at 1:50 in the afternoon. So from that day forward, I think we might have spent a total of 10 minutes around each other, but we weren't talking or anything like that. So she hits me up maybe a month later, like, hey, I missed my period. Or maybe like a month later. And I'm like, what you telling me for? She said, oh, well, I had to let you know because, I'm like, I know I don't know. Right? And then I told her straight up and down. And this is me drawing my boundary. I said, listen, there's a certain point in time where if you're pregnant, I can, like, while the baby's still in your stomach, I can get a DNA test. I forgot what time frame that was, but I was like, I can get a DNA test. I'll do it then. I said, but until then, you don't get no support from me if you really are pregnant. Because, number one, you was doing what you was doing, however you was doing it. So I don't believe if you are pregnant that it is mine. But we'll do a DNA test whenever the time frame is. And if it's mine, I'll do my due diligence as a father. She was offended by that. Like, totally offended. So I said that to say that this situation isn't about necessarily protecting the mother of your child. It's about doing the right thing. Right? So if you are within distance of this situation, if you're like maybe across the street or something like that, if you see her get struck, then yeah, I think you should protect her as the boyfriend. However, if that's not the case, if you're not within striking distance, if you're not, any of those things, she should be calling the cops first. And even if you are, she should be calling the cops first. Then call you, because the cops are mandated to protect her. You come over. If her and your child have to come to your house, that's fine. But anything else puts you in harm's way as well. And if it goes left, everyone loses. So hopefully that helps. That's just my little perspective on it. I don't know a lot of things. I know very few things. So I don't know a lot of things. I know very little things. That's my baby daddy. You better come correct. No, that's not at work, man. That's a little short-sighted. It's a little short-sighted. I believe, and this is my personal opinion, if he sees her get physically assaulted, then yes, he steps in, protects her. But if she's getting assaulted and then she calls him, you should be calling the cops first. You should be calling the cops first. You shouldn't be calling me first. Like, calling me first puts everyone else at risk. Call the cops first, then you call me. Because this saves a lot of us. It puts a lot of us in a better space. But if you call me first, let's say if I go over there, right? He's abusing you. He's doing whatever he's doing, right? He smacks you, chokes you. Right? He smacks you, chokes you, whatever he does to you, right? Calls you a bitch, whatever he does, right? I go over there. I go over there clipped up to go do something to my pistol whip and break his jaw. I could go to jail now. I could go to jail now. So now I'm in jail. Right? Like I don't think when these type of things are made, they don't think long term. Who's legally obligated to protect people? It's the police. The police ain't the best thing in the world, but when it comes to domestic violence and women, police are pretty. They get there pretty quick. So you shouldn't. So calling me first, I go over there, shit go haywire. I'm a civilian. If I do anything, I could go to jail. I could be killed. He could be killed. It's a whole lot of things that can happen. But calling the police first and then calling your child's father to maybe come pick up the kid, pick you guys up, whatever, that's completely fine. Makes all the sense in the world to me. But to just call me first, like, you got to come protect me right now, that's dangerous. Because if I come over there and use lethal force, I can go to jail for that. I'm not legally authorized to do that. And I know I said this like 5, 6, 7 times, so I apologize. But I think I think that's the perfect way to handle it. Call the police first, and at least call the child's father to let him know what's going on. But if you call the child's father first, he come over there and crash out. Now he in jail. And trust me, if I know my kid is in harm's way, I'm not coming over to have a fist fight with you. We're not having no fist fight. This ain't 2001. There ain't gonna be no boxing match. I'm coming over to piss something down in hopes that it never gets up. That's what I'm coming over to do if you catch my drift. So before you put me as the father of the child in that, call the police first. They can do whatever they want to do. They can legally shoot this motherfucker, whatever. You know, cops are even. I've seen cops lock dudes up when they ain't do shit. The woman just crying. She called the cops, start crying. They lock his ass up anyway. So calling them first is the best thing to do. Random fact, by the way. A lot of cops, I think there's data on this too. They say most cop calls are for domestic violence. Like, it's not for like other things. Most of them are for domestic violence cases. So that's just a little tidbit out there. So that's what I would do. I think that the young lady should call the police first, then call the child's father. That's my personal perspective. Feel free to disagree. It's okay. I don't know a lot of things. I know very little. So I just try to forward think. But any questions, any comments, anything like that, post them. I'm gonna make sure I post this video on my YouTube channel as well. So, but yeah, appreciate that, Terry. Thank you, man. Appreciate.